It is 7:03, November 6, 2018. We do have a quorum present, and so we will call this meeting of the Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the October 16th meeting. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Jim, a second by Karen. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 on the agenda tonight is consent agenda plats. We have one plat on the agenda this evening, and that's for the preliminary plat of Oak Bend Estates Edition, Lot 1, Block A, on a 3.695 acre tract of land out of the Buffalo Bayou Brazos and Colorado Railway Survey, Abstract 1457, zoned planned development mixed use, located at the northwest corner of Oak Bend Drive and Rockbrook Drive.
Good evening, Commissioners. This plat was reviewed by city staff and met all requirements found in Louisville's General Development Ordinance. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff or a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Motion
Second.
by Mary Ellen, second by Karen. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 4 is a regular hearing for a plat. We have one plat this evening. That's the final plat of Castle Hills Phase 10, Louisville Edition, blocks A through S, containing 264 single-family lots, 94 townhouse lots, 9 common area lots, ETH, and 13 common area lots, TH2, on 76.96 acres, with zoning designations of estate townhouse, ETH, Townhouse 2, TH2, located on the south side of Windhaven Parkway, north of FM 544, and west of Josie Lane, containing 2 associated variances.
Commissioners, there are 2 variances being requested in conjunction with the final plat for Castle Hills Phase 10. The language for Variance A has slightly changed from what is found in the packet. Variance A now reads, to allow 34 feet street right-of-way, including a 10-foot sidewalk and utility on each side, and 27-foot back-to-back street width in lieu of the required 50-foot right-of-way width, with a 31-foot back-to-back street pavement width. For the streets with this reduced street right-of-way width, no on-street parking will be permitted. There's a second variance to allow blocks L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and S to have a zoning designation of Townhouse 2. The Townhouse 2 zoning designation was not originally in the 1996 General Development Ordinance and has less intense setbacks and lot sizes compared to that of the Townhouse zoning district. A variance was previously approved to allow 28 Townhouse 2 lots in this edition with the preliminary plat. The applicant is now requesting 107 lots to have this zoning designation. Staff recommends the Planning and Zoning Commission approve this plat and recommend approval of the 2 variances. Are there any questions?
I have a quick question. So can you explain again what, you said there was a slight variance from the packet that we got on the section?
Correct. The language for variance A has changed from what is found on the plat and in the packet.
Okay, so
The illustration is still valid. It shows a street pavement width of 27 feet back to back.
Okay.
We just needed to make sure that that language for the street pavement width was included in the Exhibit A or the Variance A language in the request.
So the graphic is still, that has not changed?
That is correct.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff before we open the public hearing? Nope.
No.
With that, we will open the public hearing for this agenda item. If you wish to speak on agenda item 3A, or is it 4A? I apologize. 4A. 4A. Please come forward. With no one coming forward, we will close the public hearing. Commissioners, do we have any comments or a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Motion by William.
Second.
Second by Alvin. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to agenda item 5, public hearings. We have, for zoning and special use permits, we have 3 this evening. We will do one at a time. First one is the public hearing for consideration of a zone change request from single-family residential to Old Town Mixed Use 2 District on approximately 0.304 acres out of the J.W. King Survey, Abstract 696, and located at 235 Elm Street, the northeast corner of Elm Street and Milton Street. The request is being made by Douglas L. Arthur, the property owner.
Commissioners, the property is located on the northeast corner of Milton and Elm Street. The property previously contained a single-family residence and several accessory buildings. The residence has since been demolished, but several of the accessory buildings remain. The applicant would like to rezone the property to Old Town Mixed Use 2 and build an office building or a mixed-use building with an office on the ground floor and residential on top. This zoning complies with the Old Town Master Plan, which was adopted in 2003. The next steps for this would for the property to be platted and for the applicant to complete an Old Town development plan. The elevations of any project here would need to be approved by the Old Town Design Review Committee. Are there any questions?
Have we had any calls on this one, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Okay.
None.
Commissioners, any comments or questions?
No.
Okay, if the applicant is here and wishes to come forward and speak before we open the public hearing, you are welcome to do so. You don't have to, but you can. Go. Okay. Please come forward. And please sign in.
Doug Arthur. Really have nothing to add to that. Just I'm not really sure what I'm going to build on it, but it's going to be office residential combined. So
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, well, with that, we will open the public hearing for agenda item 5A. If anyone is here wishing to speak on this item, please come forward. And having no one else come forward, we'll close the public hearing for 5A. Commissioners?
Motion to approve item 5A.
Okay, motion by Jim.
Second.
We'll give it to Alvin. Second by Alvin. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners, this item will be going before City Council on December 3rd for a second public hearing.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 5B, consideration of a zone change request from Plan Development Estate Townhouse District to Plan Development Estate Townhouse District, PDETH, to amend the existing plan development on approximately 5.371 acres, legally described as Lot 1, Block A, and Lots 2 and 3, Block B, Boyd Addition, located on the north and south sides of McCart Drive, approximately 260 feet west of State Highway 121 Business. The request is being made by Noah Flabiano Schwarberg Company on behalf of Chris Partners Limited, the property owner.
Commissioners, Park Central Terraces previously went before the Planning and Zoning Commission and was approved by City Council on September 10th, 2018. Since that time, the applicant was made aware of a private drainage agreement between this subject property and the properties to the west and east. This agreement required that the stormwater runoff from the lots to the east and west be detained on this subject property. In order to be able to detain this water, changes had to be made to the approved PD. These changes included moving the parking lot and open space lots, switching places across McCart Drive, expanding the open space lot to allow additional detention. There's now one fewer residential lot than what was previously approved. The minimum lot changes were changed from 30 feet to 20 feet. 20 feet is the standard for state townhouse zoning. The majority of the lots are still 35 feet in width. And two detention ponds were added to the open space buffers on the north and south end of the development. The applicant is also asking for a variance to waive the requirement of tree mitigation and a private drainage easement. Staff has no objection to this variance since the detention ponds essentially function as a public detention pond, which do not have tree mitigation requirements. The applicant has agreed to plant one tree for every tree removed to construct these detention ponds. Are there any questions?
Okay, so we have, did you say that the minimum lot width has
Yes.
gone from 30?
To 20 feet,
To
which
20
is the
feet.
base for the zoning.
Okay,
And if you look at the development plan, only a few lots actually go below 35 feet in width.
okay. Are there any questions, commissioners? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. If the applicant is here and wishes to speak?
Hi, I'm Noah Flabiano, 8214 Westchester, Suite 710, Dallas, Texas, 75225. The lot width was just changed because there's an easement, I guess it's an encore easement on the west side where it turns into Country Ridge, McCart turns up. And some of those lots get pinched in the front and the back with the alley. But the pad, it's the same home. It's not like a 10-foot home. It's once you get like to the building line, it'll be a 25-foot home, just like everything else. It's not going to be a different product than what we've proposed in the past. It's the same product. It's just that we had little pinchings with the easements when we got the survey on the ground and everything. The easements actually encroached a little bit more. So there's some like pie-shaped lots on the western side, and that's the only reason for that.
Okay, and so these are still two-car garage
Yeah,
units?
same exact product as last time. I think I was here in early August. Same product. All the homes will be the same size, pad size for all the lots.
Okay.
They just get pinched in some areas.
Did we lose any parking on site?
No,
It
no,
looks-
we didn't lose
It looks like you shifted
parking.
it up and you just switched the two?
Yes, we lost a lot. We didn't lose parking though, so we have the same parking. There's also a water to the U.S. jurisdictional water through, so you can't cross over 300 feet without a steep penalty. So that's why we had to remove a lot, and we'll have more open space to overcome that with the drainage. The drainage factors into this with the western and eastern coming onto our property. But no, parking did not change, to answer your question.
Okay. And is the idea of the detention pond that I see you've broken it into it's just a couple of smaller detention ponds? so
Right, we're
it's-
trying to save as much trees as possible. We don't want to build one big one, especially in the middle or anything like that, because it takes out lots, one. The second, it's just kind of how it flows. This pad, the commercial pads up front on 121, the northern one will go to the northern side, and then the southern one will go to the southern side. So yeah, we broke it up to try to make it as small as possible instead of building one big one.
Okay. But as far as, is it going to be at a slope where, is it going to be dry? Can it still be used as open space, or is it really just going to hold
Well,
water?
it's going to have retaining walls. It's going to be too steep of a slope it would be much bigger if we had the 4-to-1 slopes or the 6-to-1 slopes. So there's going to be walls. You can walk around it. That's what we did. We left the boundaries as open as possible, so you could walk around it, but you probably wouldn't want to get in because it's going to be 8-9 feet deep. It's expensive.
Okay.
Big detention areas for the whole area.
Okay, that answers my question. Are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we will open the public hearing for agenda item 5B. If there's anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Sorry.
Okay, with that, no one else coming forward on this item, we will close the public hearing for agenda item 5B. Commissioners, you have a motion? Discussion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by William to approve,
A second.
second by John. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners, this item will appear before City Council on December 3rd for a second public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5C, we have a public hearing for consideration of a special use permit request for a shooting range an indoor shooting range on 2.256 acre lot legally described as Corporate Square, Lot 6R-1, Block A, located at 1915 South Stemmons Freeway, Zone Light Industrial District, as requested by Chris Neal of Primax Properties LLC on behalf of Louisville Bassett 1 Limited, the property owner.
Commissioners, Shoot Point Blank special use permit was originally approved by City Council on February 20th, 2017. The special use permit has since expired. The I-35 East Corridor Overlay District has since been adopted. Shoot Point Blank's proposed location is in the I-35 Corridor Transition Subdistrict and has enhanced standards for building materials and landscaping. As part of this special use permit, Shoot Point Blank has agreed to improve their building and landscaping to meet many of these standards. With the building, the applicant has greatly improved the front facade by adding cultured stone veneer, brick veneer, awnings, and new paint. All the new paint will be neutral colors except for the entrance, which will be a jalapeno orange color, which is the brand color for the business. They're also enhancing the landscaping by adding 18 live oaks to the site. They're expanding the parking lot, islands, and expanding the landscape buffer between this property and the 35 frontage. There is an existing highway pylon sign currently located on the property. The applicant is requesting that they be able to use this sign for 3 years, and after that point, will replace the sign with a low-profile monument sign. The applicant was not able to meet all the standards set forth in the 35 Corridor Overlay District. There is an alternative standard that will need to be approved by the acted upon by the Overlay District Board at a later date, and 2, that will need to be recommended to City Council. Of these 3 alternative standards, 1 is to reduce the doors and windows facade requirement on the ground floor from the required 40% to 8.2%, which is a 79.5% reduction. Shoot Point Blank functions as a shooting range, and as such, having windows in this area would be deemed unsafe. To work with this, the applicant has provided brickwork and awnings to give the architectural illusion of windows on the front facade. There is a second alternative standard to allow 5 colors be used on each elevation in lieu of the required 3 colors. 4 of the proposed colors are earth tones, which are requested by the overlay district, and 1 will be the color used in their branding. The final alternative standard is to increase the required tree spacing along the building front facade from 40 feet to 48.5 feet, which is a 21% increase. The applicant has added additional trees along their secondary walkway, which is along the front facade of the building. They were unable to meet the 40% requirement without losing any required parking, but have provided trees and tried to meet this standard. There are also 3 administrative modifications that staff approved for this project. The first was to reduce the 2 landscape islands from 10 feet to 9.5 feet. The second was to reduce the required landscape area from 20 feet to 19.3 feet. And the third, to reduce the brick and stone material requirements on the front facade from 80 feet to 76.7%. I apologize. Is there any questions?
So just to clarify how this is going to work. So we can discuss the alternative standards, but we cannot, as the Planning and Zoning Commission, we cannot approve
Yes.
that tonight because we will have to reconvene as the Overlay District Board in order to do that.
Yes.
Right, so, but we can discuss it. Okay, and then the first 3, the building design, signage, and landscaping, is that all, that's all part of the SUP approval, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page with that because it's slightly confusing.
So you'd be making a recommendation for the overall special use permit, but not for any of the alternative standards.
As part of the SUP, you can discuss the alternative standards, but you just cannot act on them tonight. That would have to take place under a separate agenda as the overlay district board.
Okay. So I guess before we have our discussion, we will still have a public hearing.
Yes.
For it, all of it can be up for discussion, though, as part of the public hearing, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we open the public hearing? Okay. Or would the applicant like to speak before we open the public hearing?
Hello, I'm Chris Neal with Primax Properties. This is Kevin Ali from Point Blank, really just here to answer any questions that you might have.
So is the idea on the parking, is the idea that, I mean, that's an existing parking lot right now, correct?
Right. It's all
So-
existing, correct.
Okay. So the idea is just to keep as much of that as possible?
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious what kind of parking projections you have for this particular business, because I personally, I personally love the, and I'm not entirely sure exactly where this falls within the overlay district, but, my idea is that we're trying to kind of move away from having the huge parking lot in front and being able to break it up a little bit more. So I was just curious, I mean, it looks like there's quite a bit of parking here. What kind of, is this overkill? Is this not enough parking? It kind of aligns with this business.
If we're building a store from the ground up, we like to put in 95 parking stalls. So it's a few more than we would build. We will utilize them. During the winter months up north and in the summer months down here, we're usually on a wait for the 22 lanes inside the store. So we will use the majority of that parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah, the overlay was kind of designed to find the right fit to avoid overparking, but to have a reasonable amount. And I think in this case, the process worked very well. I think it'd be a really good fit for what they need and not overpark and yet allow for adequate landscaping to kind of meet the intent of the overlay and improve the aesthetics of the site.
Yeah, and that's why I ask. I just wonder, is it going to be just a vast parking lot that's empty most of the time or half empty most of the time, or is it going to be pretty well utilized?
It will be very well utilized.
Okay.
Our stores average about $4.5 to $5 million a year. There's 16 open now, and we have people parking on the streets when we have 90 parking stalls. And that's been a bigger issue than the sea of concrete.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
Quick question, and there's more curiosity than anything else. Sound suppression. You're not in an area where there's a lot of residential, but you are fairly close to some apartments.
Yes, ma'am. We are in Arlington, Texas. There's residential homes about 250 feet off the back of our building. We will not violate any noise ordinance you have. And as a matter of fact, we won't violate any noise ordinance you have on our retail floor. So the range is a solid concrete box inside of our concrete box store. And you'll be able to carry on a normal conversation. It'll probably be 65 decibels or less on our retail floor. So we won't come close to violating any noise ordinance you have. Most stores, you cannot hear a thing outside. There will be much more highway noise from I-35 than there will be coming out of our store. You'll most likely not be able to hear anything.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Okay. I think that'll do it. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And with that, we will open the public hearing for agenda item 5C. Anyone wishing to speak on this item may come forward. No one else come forward, we will close the agenda, or the public hearing for agenda item 5C. And so I think if, at this point, we need to, if there's any further discussion that we want to have, or if we want to have a motion to approve the SUP only.
Yes, to recommend approval to the council.
Yes. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the SUP and forward to the city council for approval.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Mary Ellen, second by Karen. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And so with that, do we need to discuss, or go ahead, Jonathan, I'm sorry.
Commissioners, this item will appear before City Council on November 19th for a second public hearing.
Okay, thank you. And so at this point, perhaps we need to discuss when we can have this second meeting.
Yes, staff met individually with each of the commissioners before the meeting started, and it appears that everyone is available on Monday, November the 12th at 6:30 here in the council chambers. So that will be advertised, or will be posted and noticed as an overlay district board meeting to act on the 3 alternative standards that are requested in conjunction with the SUP. And then the alternative standards and the SUP recommendation will all go together to the council at one time on the 19th.
Okay. Very well. And then do we also need to discuss availability for the week of Thanksgiving?
Yes, our next regularly scheduled P&Z meeting is on Tuesday, November the 20th. That is the week of Thanksgiving, 2 days before Thanksgiving. So if anyone cannot be here, we just need to determine a quorum. If you could check your calendars, and if you could confirm either you will be here or will not be here with Teresa over the next day or two. Because if we do not have a quorum, we will have to cancel that meeting, and we will have to notify our applicants, because we do have 2 or 3 items, I believe, that will require action.
Okay. Okay, well, with that, next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Mary Ellen?
Second.
Second by John. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.